Clicking to listen to this tells me one thing: the topic resonates, or you know someone who feels like this. Before we dive deeper, I need you to know that it doesn't happen to only you. Now, answer this question. Have you ever left a conversation wondering how you suddenly sounded less intelligent than you actually are? You know the answer, but once attention shifts towards you, you no longer know. While the conversations were going on, before it got to your turn to chime in that group of people where you aren't so familiar with everybody or it's an official setting, your thoughts were clear. But it got to your turn, your thoughts decided to become muddy waters. Or at that point is when you became extremely aware of yourself. You are now so conscious of what your hair looks like, what your makeup looks like, if you're a man, how your tie is feeling. In fact, you tend to over-monitor how exactly your words are coming out. And because you're doing that, you begin to get so scared of sounding wrong. And as a result, your natural flow disappears because you are editing yourself in real time. Let's explain why this is happening. Because I repeat, it's never about the intelligence. The issue is not about your intelligence. Your intelligence is not in doubt here. It is that there is what are described as cognitive interference. And it happens because of a P word. The P word, pressure. Because pressure creates self-consciousness. And before you know it, that divides your attention. Because once you are self-conscious, you can't focus on yourself completely in the moment and still focus on communicating clearly at the same time. If I get so self-conscious right now, my mind will begin to go in different directions, and before you know it, I won't stay on the topic. Once your attention is divided, it will disrupt how you can freely express yourself, because your brain in that moment is shifting from communication to self-protection. And see, once you start protecting yourself and not wanting to look like you don't know what you're saying, you start trying so hard to perform instead of actually expressing yourself. So, what should you do? Under pressure, 3 core things are happening. 1, you stop focusing on communication because you are so afraid or bothered by making any mistakes or not sounding as smart as you are. 2, as a result, you start focusing on evaluation. How will people perceive me if I mispronounce this? If I bring this and the items are in the wrong order? You are cooking up different stories in your mind. So you are now so focused on evaluation. And because of this, number 3, your brain becomes overloaded. If you've ever had to print out documents, you know how it can be when the paper jams. Nothing is coming out. You can't get your document. You can't get anything in order. That's the way it feels. Instead of those, doing these 3 things will help. You first slow down. What are we slowing down? Your thoughts. Because all of these things are coming from your thoughts. Slow down your thoughts. I promise you, you can do it. The way I have been able to learn to speak a bit slower is by learning to slow down my thoughts. Slowing down your thoughts will help you to control how your words flow. Can you see? Then that will make it easier for you to focus more on connection instead of performance. So that's the next thing you're doing. Once you slow down your thoughts, you'll be able to slow down your words, which would reflect in you being able to focus on connection instead of performance. The third one I'm going to say now will sound counterintuitive, which is stop trying to sound intelligent. You don't need to sound intelligent because you already are. In fact, trying to sound intelligent is what often disrupts the natural intelligence that you already have. So, the three things. Step 1, slow down your thoughts and then your words. I'm not saying you should dawdle, but slow down your words. Number 2, focus on connection instead of performance. Number 3, stop trying to sound intelligent. And so I hope you'll keep this 3-step framework in your back pocket so that whenever you start feeling, I need to, I have to, I don't want to, you quickly remember what you're supposed to do. Because by now you know that many intelligent people do not fail because they lack knowledge. You know you are intelligent. You know what it takes, what to do, how to do it. But that struggle shows up when pressure interferes with how you are able to access what you know. In fact, here is a question I want you to ask yourself. How do I speak when I'm around the people that I'm comfortable with? And what way can I take that into situations with people I'm yet to be familiar with? That might help you. But that might be too overreaching. That is why I gave you the 3-step approach from earlier. If you found this episode helpful, remember to share it with at least one person that can find this useful.